That's like, I feel my horror, my horror, feel my horror. Good morning. I thought I would film a little bit. This video for this week's update is going to be really short because it's been a super weird short week where I haven't actually worked very much. First, we had Monday off because of something else that my boss had going on. There was a weird scheduling snafu, so yesterday I ended up being off, and I was kind of bummed because this week I feel like I've started to make more progress. I'm feeling like driving is becoming more comfortable. I'm having less anxiety about the way I'm shifting when it comes to like moving loads and whatever. Things are starting to click. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but it's getting better, which is, hey man, improvement is the best I can ask for. Any improvement is great. So, and I mean, I'm rested, if you can't tell. I'm pretty rested. We had the time change. It's just a really weird week. I'm going to include video, if I haven't already, of my boss showing me how to secure these super heavy aluminum coils. Interrupting your video already in progress just to share a little video of those coils being lowered onto the bed of the truck. That's the 29,000 pound coil being lowered with a 35-ton crane, and then the blue one next to it is the 11,000 pound coil. So that's all that centralized weight in the middle of the bed there. And then this here is a obviously sped up video of my trainer demonstrating how to use chains to secure those coils to the bed of the truck. Pretty cool stuff. I really enjoyed learning this week. Got an opportunity to drive those the other day, not as much as I wanted to because it's much more challenging to drive them. Really the whole point is driving slow because it's so much centralized weight on the bed of the truck. It was two aluminum coils, one weighing 29,000 pounds and the other weighing 11,000 pounds. I'm still not fully awake yet, so I'm a little stuttery. I could use some coffee. I tried to stop by the Starbucks on my way here and it wasn't open yet. I forgot they didn't open till 6 and I was like, dang. And like our start time today is 6:15, which is so much later. And it honestly makes me like, I prefer starting at the crazy early times because traffic is so annoying. And like, there's not that much traffic right now, but it's enough to be, I would rather come here when there's no traffic, you know, let me get here at 3 in the morning. That's fine, even though it's weird and messes with my sleep schedule. I guess we're driving a load of drywall to this western suburb of Chicago that's not that far, Carroll Stream. And then I don't know if we have another load scheduled already, but he said he anticipated a short day. And I'm surprised that I'm like bummed because I'm like, well, first of all, I didn't even finish explaining. Because of a weird scheduling snafu with the delivery of those aluminum coils, I didn't end up working yesterday because they had to be delivered at like 11 p.m. And that's when I'm normally sound asleep because I get to sleep from like, 8:30 to 1 a.m. normally on this training schedule. He's like, I'm not going to make you go there late with me. So he just went and delivered that load. And then and it was in Ohio, by the way, which is like a 4.5 hour drive. So I don't even know what went on yesterday, but I missed it and I'm like, man, I'm missing out. Like I want to be back on my daily training, on the routine. So I'm glad at least to be working today or training today, I should say, and I'm assuming we'll be training tomorrow, but then have another 3-day weekend because I scheduled myself a massage on Monday, which is going to sound real frivolous to any truckers who are watching this, I'm sure, but this neck pain and shoulder pain has started to feel somewhat debilitating, and I have a history. I don't know if anybody else relates with this. If you're one of those people who has had the experience of waking up in the morning and not being able to turn your head suddenly, or like making a movement, a seemingly normal everyday movement, and then suddenly you can't turn your head, that's the kind of neck issue that I have had. It can relate to a rib popping out of place, which is not the most uncommon thing. And you can go to a chiropractor and they can like pop it back in and you can get your mobility back within a very short period of time. I've had that experience more than once. I don't know that I have ribs out of place. I don't know what the hell I have going on, but I do know that it's really inhibiting my life. It's really frustrating. So I'm hoping that a good massage will help to work enough of it out that I'm more functional and in less pain, because being in pain every day and hoping that your neck doesn't go out where you suddenly like can't fucking turn your head. Not being able to turn your head is prohibitive to safe driving. I've done it before. It's scary and stressful. It's not good. So it's basically like your whole neck is in spasm, you know, it's real painful. So I'm getting a massage on Monday, and so hopefully next week though will be a little bit more consistent the rest of the week, because this week was really weird. But anyway, that's what I got. That's my update. All right, so it looks like I got my wish, because we're gonna be picking up more metal coils today and getting up super early tomorrow and taking them to St. Louis. What's that thing they say? Speak the things you want into existence. Apparently I wanted to get up at 1 a.m. and no, I kind of do though. I know that's kind of twisted, but I really like driving in the early morning hours. And I got caught up on sleep. Today I had a cranky moment though, because the route that we took, it was funny because we were driving out to the western suburbs of Chicago, close to where I used to live. It's always weird going out that way. The traffic is always shitty, always. So I've been in traffic a lot today, a lot of shifting practice, which has mostly been decent. I did actually stall out once at an intersection, which that was the first time. No, I guess that would be the second time, because I remember myself saying that before. But this was like, whatever. Anyway, it wasn't the worst thing ever. And the thing is, because my trainer stays calm, I stay calm. It's like, okay, people behind me are gonna wait. It's not gonna be like the end of the world, you know? It's really warm today. It feels really good. I feel like a farmer. My overalls and my t-shirt. But yeah, we're about to pick up some kind of metal coils. I don't know what type. And driving to St. Louis tomorrow. And Missouri is the one state in my Midwestern tour that I haven't hit yet. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to the drive. I'm sure it'll be a pretty drive. I'm glad that it'll be Friday and I will have, the weekend to recover, another 3-day weekend. But I'm eager to get back to a full schedule. And I'm excited too, because my boss told me that he's been waiting, this seat has a terrible squeaking thing, dude. It's so annoying. He's like, it doesn't happen when I'm in the seat. It's because I'm lighter than he is. So every time I move, the seat like pops up and it makes this crazy squeaking noise. Anyway, it's like nails on a chalkboard. What the heck was I gonna say? Yeah, Missouri is the only state I haven't hit on what I've called my Midwestern tour of the last couple of weeks. So Missouri tomorrow. Oh, I got cranky because we didn't get to stop for coffee until too late, and I finally did, and I am so glad. So glad. It's an addiction, but just is what it is. When you're driving and you're dealing with like a learning curve, a little boost of caffeine is just what the doctor ordered. So I'm waiting for my boss to come back from checking in, and I guess he's finding out where we need to go to pick this up, and maybe I can get a little footage again of us securing these coils down. We'll see. That's how today is going. That's Thursday. I wish I could have gotten some video. I got those coils up, and it was like the dirtiest job and the hardest job. My favorite. All right, I just got home. Nice early day, which is great because tomorrow is going to start super early, and I got real dirty today, which honestly I love. I love a dirty job. I don't know what it is. I probably won't love it as much when I have to like be done at the end of a day and I don't have access to a shower. However, the reason why I got so dirty is because we had to chain down these coils. I think they were aluminum again. I'm not sure. But this is a pretty heavy load, and it was pretty challenging to drive. And what happens is this was like similar in weight, I think, or a little bit less than the last load of coils that we did. But the last load was like 2 larger coils, and this was a bunch of smaller ones. But the way the weight ends up, every time you go over a bump, the whole truck is like rocking, so you have to go really slow. You have to start slowing down really early. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with like driving that kind of a load, and the key is really to look way ahead. And I always thought that I was did a good job of looking ahead and anticipating. And then till I started working with my trainer and realizing that like I keep saying he has like an eagle eye, because he sees stuff way out ahead that I don't see as quickly as he does. And it's because he's so used to looking way farther ahead, because you have to anticipate, especially when you're loaded heavily, you have to know when to start slowing down. And a lot of times it's way sooner than you're used to when you are used to driving a car or a lighter vehicle. So, yeah, I got super dirty because half of the chains that we have in the truck that we're driving are super rusty. So this is like rust stains. I look like I have bruises, but it's just rust. I cleaned off a lot of what was on my arms because they were just covered. And it's because like they're heavy, so I just wrap them around me. And then I'm like, oh shit, these are good. My gloves are like completely covered in rust. So, but yeah, I love me a dirty physical job, and that was exactly that. It was all of that, like securing those chains, getting them tight enough. I just kind of have the strength to do it completely right, you know, because you have to get those chains so tight that they feel like super firm. And I always know that I'm going to do it to the extent I think I need to, then he's going to come and crank it like 3 more times. So I have to be able to, on my own, tighten those chains completely, and that means I have to use all of my body weight to do it. And I fucking love that shit, because that's like I feel my horror I feel my whole core tightening up, and I feel like I'm working my arms and I'm getting sweaty, and that's exactly what I want to be doing. I told him, I was like, send me on these jobs all the time, as many as you want, because I would much rather, if I have to stop and load up and do something like that that's physical, that's exactly what I want to be doing. And then we had a funny snafu. I keep using the word snafu today. We had a little run-in with another trucker when we were trying to leave this particular pickup, and I think he was dropping off. And the way that this location was, there's a long, narrow, like only one truck can fit through sort of alleyway. We started turning into that alley, and our truck was like in a big U at that point, and there wasn't really room for us to back out again. And he had started coming down that path and just decided he's just going to keep going. And he saw us leaving, but he was like, nope. It would have made the most sense for him to back out part of the way, then give us enough space so we could straighten out. Then he could have cut past us. But he didn't want to do that. Like, he was resistant to backing out. And it was really annoying because it was like this dumb standoff. And my trainer was trying to talk to him, and the guy wasn't listening. And the guy ended up having to back out all the way. And it's like, that wasn't even necessary. If he had just listened to what my trainer was saying to him, like, just back up a little bit, you could see that our truck would be able to get straight. Then we could go past each other just fine. It was a good moment for me being in the driver's seat, because I got to observe the interaction between the two of them and imagine how I would do that. And he was like, oh, it's going to be worse when it's you. And I was like, yeah, because being a female going against a male trucker, they're not going to listen to me. I already know how that works, because I've done these types of jobs in male settings where you're a female, you know, they automatically think that you know less, you don't know what you're doing. That's 100% assumed. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing the job, they're going to keep making that assumption. So in my case, the best way to confront that is to just go into the situation with confidence and not let them break you down, and just be like, nope, this is what I'm going to do. We'll see how well that goes. I'm sure I'll have moments of total frustration and, you know, whatever. But anyway, that was how today went. Tomorrow we're going to drive those coils down to Missouri. It's going to be a really long drive. We got to set out by 3 a.m. at the latest. So I got to get to the yard like by 3 a.m. It's going to be a pretty long day of driving. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm glad to be home early so I can get some downtime beforehand. You know what time it is. It's ice bath time. It's so nice and calm and quiet. I almost don't even want to talk over it. But this is like some of my favorite conditions, when it's just so quiet. Except for the periodic sirens of the fire station near here. I love it when it gets overcast and it makes the water appear like this deeper blue-green color, and it's just so gorgeous. Of course, it looks more blue probably through my sunglasses, but perfect way to wind down and prepare for another intense day tomorrow. So we're on this job site where we have to wear hard hats, which doesn't make me look like a dickhead at all. And I was just saying to my trainer how creepy this place is and how this looks like it could be a horror movie film set and like a Freddy movie or some shit. We are picking up something approximately like those metal coils. Can I zoom? No, I guess I can't. I'll have to do that in editing, but I'll do that in post. But anyway, check this out. Industrial building, lots of, I'm sure inside there's even more creepy sounds. And then there's like all this old dead brush, which would make like the perfect setting for a scary movie if you filmed here at night. But then check this shit out. It gets better. Right? You got the old abandoned warehouse, the random steam. I don't even know what's going on here. I really have no idea. But this is where we're picking up today. We're near St. Louis. And I am looking very cool in my safety gear, which is fine. It's important to be safe. Safety first, not looks. Drove down to St. Louis today, near St. Louis. Dropped off some steel coils. Now we're picking up these, which are called slinky coils, something like that. And then driving back up to Chicago. Although I should be done driving somewhat soon. I'm not as tired as I would think I would be, which is great. And I think I'm getting used to it, getting some endurance, so that's good. And it's like cloudy and kind of rainy, but I think it's really pretty out. I have a thing for this kind of weather sometimes. Please note, I'm not intending to make this an educational video. I'm actually just trying to share with you what I'm learning as I'm in training. And this is where my trainer is demonstrating for me how to properly secure these, what are referred to as slinky coils. They're made of steel, and they are aligned in a way that's referred to as suicide versus shotgun. Kind of funny. I talk about that a little bit later in the video, but you'll see that these straps are holding them both down and from top to bottom, and then side to side they're being held together. And this type of securement is going to keep them as immobile as possible during transit, and there's always some kind of settling that occurs, so periodically during our trip we will stop and retighten those straps to make sure the load is as secure as it can be. And then this is the kind of job where you gotta weigh the truck on the way in and weigh it on the way out when you have the load. So that's where we're at right now with the load. This is the end of day Friday. It was a very strange week this week. Like I said, didn't work every day. I only had 3 days, and one of them was really short. Am I remembering that right? I think I am. But today was a 15-hour day, and this is the closest I've come to running out my clock. I was supposed to, I don't know why, I could have kept driving, but it's fine. I did all but like the last hour and a half of my clock, I guess, but it was a 15-hour day because of the amount of time it took to, you know, load and unload at different spots that we were at today. Some reflections from today. Man, that first drop off, or first, was it? Oh, I'm trying to remember. It's all like blending together now. It was a drop off of steel coils, and the drive there was fine for the most part until like the last few miles, and it was like through this tiny podunk town that I swear to God had a fucking light every like 20 yards. And I was just like, oh my God. So I got my shifting practice in today, and I have gotten a lot better. It's weird how sometimes I'll be like on point, and then other times I'll just like fuck up right and left. But it really is obviously the hardest when we're fully loaded, and it's always weird going back and forth between being loaded heavily to being empty, and like your brain has to adjust. And my trainer told me before we started driving after unloading the first load, he was like, okay, now be careful when you brake, because you forget how different it is. And it's crazy too. And so like one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot today that kept sort of coming up in my mind, and it's wet roads, it's a rainy day. You know, people just have no idea how long it takes to stop a loaded truck. And I keep getting these little flashbacks of how like times I've been driving my car, and I know there's a million instances of when I cut off a truck, not like in a crazy egregious way, but like where I thought that the distance I was getting in front of a truck was enough, and I was like, oh, this is fine in my head. And now I realize, like, you don't know how heavily a truck is loaded. You have no idea a lot of times from seeing it from the outside. People have no idea how much things weigh, and you have no idea how long it takes a truck to stop. And I think it's something like it can take up to the length of a football field for a fully loaded truck to stop. And when you're behind the wheel, it can be really scary. You have to start braking very early. And because you're driving a truck that has air brakes rather than hydraulic brakes like you're used to in a car, I hope I'm saying that right, but I know obviously it's air brakes, you can burn out the brakes if you don't brake correctly. So you have to put your foot on the brake for like 3 seconds, take your foot off, like repeat. So you can't just slam on the brakes because that could cause the truck to jackknife. That could cause a serious accident. You have to brake carefully and slowly, and when you have a fully loaded truck, it takes a long time, like way longer than you think. And now that I've gotten more used to that, I'm having an easier time like seeing how far ahead I need to be, anticipating where I need to start braking, especially for exits and downshifting. I'm getting a lot better at that, but I can't control people around me, and that's really hard. And it's just like I feel like I'm getting my karmic comeuppance whenever someone gets too close in front of me. I'm saying that as opposed to cuts me off, because I think that there's a distinction there, and I think a lot of car drivers don't think that they're cutting off a truck when they actually are, because they have no idea how much space a truck needs in front of it if it's loaded, you know. And if it's not loaded, still, you shouldn't get too close in front of a truck. But people just have no idea, and they're always not going to have an idea. It's just the way it goes. So you, as a trucker, it's like mini heart attacks all the time because you don't want to cause something bad to happen. And when you're driving on wet roads and you have to stop as quickly as you possibly can, sometimes you can only stop as fast as you can physically do it and do it safely. So that was kind of stressful today. That and all those traffic lights in that fucking town. I was like, why does this town have so many traffic lights? It was truly mind-blowing to me. I was just like, oh my God. It was a super long day. It was great this week that, even though it was a weird week, getting a chance to learn how to secure these different types of loads. I really want to have the opportunity to practice securing those loads again before I'm on my own, which I'm pretty sure I will, because those are the most complicated loads to secure. And the nice thing about that is that because the people that you're picking up from are aware of, you know, the seriousness of these types of loads. Like, for example, there's 2 different ways that you can have the metal coils aligned. One is called suicide and the other is called shotgun. And I have to remember which one's which. I'm not going to even try to say it right now because I'll probably get them backwards because I'm so tired. But like, the one that's called suicide is because it can kill you if the chain breaks. And I'm like, how exactly does that work? And I don't even want to know. I didn't ask him to explain it. I have an idea, but I didn't want to think about it. That's what's so crazy, is like there is a fair amount of danger involved in these things. And that's why, like, I'm glad I'm the person who has this job, because I'm a very conscientious person and I really care about doing things the right way. And it feels good to have a responsibility and to be trusted with it. So obviously before I'm on my own, I'm going to have a good amount more practice doing this stuff. It's also very physical to secure those loads. And so I enjoy that, but also it's like I need to get stronger physically because I only weigh so much, and like I could put my whole weight into, you know, tying down these straps, and it still needs like a couple more cranks. There's this bar that you use to secure straps on a flatbed, for those who are watching this and don't know about that. It's like kind of like a crowbar with one end is bent. My boss is getting another one or having another one made for me that's a longer bar because it'll give me more leverage. He did the same thing for the type of, I'll show this on video sometime, the way that you roll down the back of the trailer that covers the back of it. It's this bar, and you have to like pop it, you have to roll it all the way up. It's like a crank, and when you're opening the trailer, and you have to pop it over the top so it rests on it while you're sliding the trailer open. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense, but I'll try to show it sometime. And I could not get the thing up there. I couldn't do it, and I was like, am I weak? What is it? And then he got me a longer bar, and then I could do it. So it was because I was too short. It wasn't, I mean, maybe it is weakness also, but I think it was primarily a height issue. Like, I just didn't have the right physics. The situation wasn't, whatever. Anyway, it was fun. I really love my boss. He's great. I'm not just saying that because he might watch this, because he told me he watched my videos, a couple of them, and I was like, oh, did I say anything? I mean, I'm careful and thoughtful about what I say. I also don't want him to feel disrespected ever, of course. Who would want that? But no, we get along, we laugh a lot, we have a good time. And like I said in a previous video, he gives me just the right amount of shit where I feel like I want to improve and I want to impress him, not make him correct me repeatedly. And I'm still learning, I'm new. So, you know, I'm giving myself plenty of space to go through my learning curve, but I also want to be like much better than I am, which I will once time goes by. I always do this after a super long day. It's hard for me to actually get out of my car and walk to my apartment. It's not even far. I'm at the end of the alley, but I have to carry my shit and walk in like the bag lady, and I don't fucking feel like doing anything. I'll just sit in my car and like swipe on Instagram sometimes, and it's like 15 hours later. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and I will try to keep my my updates interesting, and if you're out there driving, be safe out there, and hopefully I will cross your path sometime, and if you see me, say hello. And thanks, y'all. I will catch you on the next one.